Welcome to the Josh Scanlon Podcast, my friends. Today is Saturday, July 29th, 2018. I got a great episode here. There's a guy named Skip Smith that I found on YouTube, of all places. Just some dude who does videos on the Villages, that retirement community in Central Florida. And he's been doing a lot of YouTube videos. When I was doing my research on continuing care retirement communities, I came across Skip, and it just seems like a nice guy. He does he's got, I think he said like 380 videos or something like that. And I said, man, it'd be cool to interview this guy because he's got boots on the ground for how the Villages works. And the Villages is not a CCRC. The Village is just a retirement community. But you all heard of the Villages. That place is booming. And it was such a fascinating interview with Skip because he's an old truck driver. He used to run his own, I think he said, over-the-road truck. And then deregulation, probably because of NAFTA, actually, that put him out of business. So he went to drive a truck for UPS, I think he said for like 28 years in Indianapolis, retired, and his wife was already kind of hanging out almost full-time in Florida. And when he finally hung up his boots, he went down there too, and in the Villages. And it's interesting, actually, because a lot of things I was not aware of, he educated me on. Did you know that there's not many mosquitoes in the Villages? Isn't that interesting? And I would have thought, the minute Skip said that there's a swamp behind him, but they call it a prairie part or whatever. But I said, the only thing I can think of is this huge cloud of mosquitoes just trying to attack me because they love me. And he said, no, man, there's less mosquitoes down here than there was in Indiana. I said, really? He goes, the thing is, I don't even know when they spray for them because I don't ever see them out there. So that's a huge win right there for sure. Also talk about citrus trees, because if you're from the north, you have this fantasy of man planting an orange tree and just like living in hog heaven there. But he said, no. I mean, you could do that, but he says, at the end of the day, a lot of them rot and they attract mice and rats tend to attract, you got it, snakes. Exactly. And if you don't want snakes slithering around, probably don't want an orange tree. And that was interesting. And then the property tax aren't that bad. I mean, $2,500 on a $250,000 home, and then he gets a homestead exemption, a couple other exemptions as well. And then on top of that, the homeowners insurance. They're paying like $650 a year in homeowners insurance. I was like, I thought Florida you're paying through the nose, and I guess if you're in the central part of the state, not so much. So all that's pretty cool. I mean, will I end up moving to Florida? Probably not. The humidity, man, it eats me alive. But still, who knows? I mean, you don't know what the future holds, but I'm well far away from doing that myself. The point was, though, is that I'm dealing with clients who are looking at these, assisted living, continuing care retirement communities, CCRCs and whatnot, and I said, I need to get a little bit better educated, provide a better advice component of my financial planning prowess, because that is an area that I know enough, but not nearly what I need to know. So the thing about YouTube, my friends, is just tons of stuff on there. You want to learn about rocket science, you go to Engineering Explained. That guy is incredible. You want to learn about the Villages, you go to Skip Smith. Skip Smith The Villages, all one word. Skip Smith The Villages is his YouTube channel. If you want to learn about how to make a bike float through the air with balloons, just tons of stuff on YouTube. It's awesome. I love it. And podcasts I love too. The problem with podcasts, only thing is, if you're a visual learner like I am to some capacity, I need the visual as well. When a picture is worth 1,000 words. But I love the both. I love to read, I love to listen, the audio, and I love the visual. So having all three, and that's what I do. I do my blog post, I do my podcast, and I do my YouTube channel. I want to get the word out for all sorts of folks who listen and learn in a different way, be it videos, be it audio, or be it the reading. So anyway, a great episode. The funny thing is, too, what you learn when you just reach out to people is some people are asses, I guess, but the vast majority of people, just good people. I don't know Skip, he doesn't know me, and yet he volunteers some personal information, not social security numbers or anything like that, but it's just some dude who called him up, or at least I emailed him. That's just pretty cool. Talk about a smaller world where we're getting connected. The last thing what I liked about the Villages the most, and this is something I would have overlooked, and Skip said he's been, he's looked at dozens of retirement communities because he did his due diligence, and he said, in the middle of summer, the one thing is most of these retirement communities, the people are inside in their homes or apartments, whatever, staying away from the heat in their air conditioned units. He goes, not the villages. The villages, it's just people are everywhere. That sense of community. And I did I did a YouTube video on that. These professors up in Canada did a survey of folks, and they said basically, and this is in Canada, so obviously far away from the villages, but the sense of community is what brings enjoyment and satisfaction. It's not the wealth. It's not necessarily the amenities. I mean, some of that will go hand in hand, but the sense of community. And I find that inherently, humans need other human beings. Humans don't want to be hermits. They don't. They need other people. And it just is something to think about, because as you're going through your day-to-day, everyone wants to make an impact. Well, I think probably the easiest way to make an impact is just a smile, because that shows you to somebody else that, you're thinking about them or rooting for them. Right? Just a smile, a hello, just a casual conversation. It's easy to get caught up in your phone and listen to music or not, but just at the end of the day, if you really want to make a difference, just say hello, smile, how you doing, and tell me about yourself. And people are willing and eager to share, and I think I just think it's pretty cool. So anyway, thanks, Skip, for being on the podcast. My friends, I hope you like it. Don't forget to go to the YouTube channel at youtube.com. Heritage is a backslash or front slash, whatever the slash is, Heritage Wealth Planning. And of course, go to the blog at heritagewealthplanning.com. So youtube.com, Heritage Wealth Planning, the blog at heritagewealthplanning.com. I hope you enjoy the episode. Thanks now. Would you tell us a little about who you are and why you started doing YouTube videos? It's pretty cool.
Well, who I am is actually just a retired truck driver. I'm not anybody special at all. I owned my own trucking company for many, many years. And then when deregulation came along, we kind of went out of business. I always had in my mind that I was going to go back into buying a small trucking company, but it just didn't work out. And when the economy straightened out to the point where I thought I could do it, I was like 48 years old and no retirement.
Yeah.
And I just decided to go to work for UPS, and I stayed there because of the retirement more than anything. We came down here. And this is our second house. We had one before that we used as a summer vacation home.
Okay.
And we've always liked it here. We've been coming down here for, 20-plus years. And I started doing YouTube things really as a small hobby, just something different to do. And I had a lot of friends up north, and I had a lot of video of people that, like my dad, my mom, and all these different videos that you just don't know where to store them or where to put them. And I was using YouTube as a source of putting them in a place where I could keep them. And also my family members that lives in other states and other countries, they could actually witness my dad's 90th birthday, for example.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another. People was asking questions about this and that. And so I was doing video so they could go on YouTube and see what it was they were asking about, whether it be a new home being built or a new area being built around the villages, and could you show us the square and things like that. And it just kind of got to the point where next thing I knew, I said, shoot, I got 500 subscribers. I got to keep doing this. and now I'm over 2, and it just keeps growing. So I just keep doing it.
I saw you had over 2,000 subscribers. Like, man, obviously you have someone's appeal. You're appealing to somebody, you know what I'm saying? And I'd count me in as one of your subscribers, too. I think that's pretty cool. Are you doing it just on a telephone? Or, how do you set up? Or just anything fancy?
What's my YouTube channel?
Say again? Yes, when you're doing your videos. Yeah, videos.
Yeah, I got a couple of cameras, 3 cameras if you're going to count the phone. I use the phone once in a while if I see something at a moment's notice, that might be interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, something like an alligator crossing the road, and I happen to be on my golf cart, so I might whip the phone out and just take a picture of it. But generally, my GoPro 5 is my go-to camera.
Okay.
And I use it a lot, and here recently we've added a Canon camera to it because of, it's a clearer picture, and it's got the zoom lens when I need it and things like that. But most of what I video is the newer areas for people that's wanting to buy. And then a lot of the other stuff that I video is really by request. It's my subscribers ask for some silly things, I think, but it's what they want to see, and so it's what I do.
Well, people like to laugh. I just got done watching a video of when the wife was out. I thought I got a kick out of that, and it's funny because a couple hundred people make them laugh. I mean, it's not a bad thing. You put a video up on there, a silly video, you get 700 people or something like that who get a kick out of it. I mean, that's not a bad use of a couple minutes time. That's for sure.
Well, I've told my wife she shouldn't leave me home alone.
Now, on your cell phone, it says Indianapolis. Is that where you're from originally, Indiana, or?
That's where I retired from. Was actually a town called Brownsburg, Indiana, which is 8 miles west of Indianapolis on Highway 74. And it was just a small farming community. We liked living there. But then the Indianapolis Colts discovered the town, and I think almost all their team members now built new houses over there. And so now the town is growing in leaps and bounds.
Okay.
And I would just drive to work in Indianapolis for UPS until I retired.
And then, so once you retired, you said you all already had a house down in the Villages, or just like part-time, or how did you,
yeah.
So you were kind of going like a snowbird?
We bought a patio villa, and their small homes are about 1,165 square feet, give or take. They're 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Yards are like postage stamp size, so there's really like no maintenance to these things. And we would come down. I would come down on vacations. My wife would come down because she was already retired. She would come down for like months at a time.
Oh.
And so, yeah, I would always leave Indianapolis during the race in May.
Okay.
When they had the Indianapolis race, I wanted to get out of town. So she would come down, like, say, the 1st of May. She'd fly down here. And then I would drive the car down here the last week in May for vacation, and I would pick her up and take her home.
Oh.
And we'd done that for the longest time, and then we would rent the place out in the winter months, January, February, and March.
Oh, okay.
And so when I retired full-time, it was a nice house. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them, but they're only like a car and a half garage, and I really needed a bigger garage, and so we just decided to sell it and buy a bigger home.
Any problems with the demand of selling the house down there? Is it pretty? I mean, I imagine there's a huge demand. I mean, because there's a huge demand to be in the Villages, I think, right? So selling a property wouldn't be that difficult, I wouldn't think.
There is a huge demand in the Villages, but it's not just the Villages. It's really only about any retirement community anywhere in the state of Florida, really. And probably anywhere else, is because the baby boomers. There's so many of them retiring right now, and they're all wanting to escape the cold weather and the ice, and so they're all looking everywhere. I think their Villages is probably the top in Florida anyway of where everybody wants to be because of not only the amenities here, but it's got its own road construction here where it includes golf carts. And you can you don't even need a car here, really. You can take a golf cart and go to your doctor, go to the hospital, go grocery shopping, just do anything you want in a golf cart. And that's what's unique about it.
So it's literally its own, and I've never been there, so pardon my ignorance, but it's literally its own, almost like an island, essentially, where it has everything you possibly need.
Yeah, it does have everything you possibly need. And it's surrounded by assisted living centers also.
Okay.
And they have the same access. They have access to all the amenities when they want them. They got golf cart access to the trails when they want them. So even though they need assistance in a lot of ways, they still have the freedom to be able to maybe not go very far because of their limitations, but they can still get out. They can go down to their buddy's house, play some cards, drink a beer, and still have an independent life.
Is there a hospital, like, close proximity, like for ER and stuff like that?
There's a big hospital called the Villages Regional Hospital, and they've added on to it, I know, at least once, and now they're building a new one. I can't think of the name of it, but they're building a new one here by Brownwood. It's going to be some kind of a specialty hospital, clinic kind of thing. I think it's going to be higher end, too, because there's a famous chef. I can't think of it. What is it? Wolfgang Puck. He's going to have a restaurant attached to that hospital.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious. So, you guys are obviously on the independent side. And, like, with a continuing care retirement community, you got independent, then you go to assisted living, then nursing home. Is the Villages the same thing, Skip? Like, you're guaranteed a bed if you need assisted living and then a nursing home, or is it, or are you literally just you pay your own property tax, you're all completely on your own for right now, just in a retirement community? Does that make sense? What I'm asking you?
Yeah, this is a retirement community, but most people here, we own our own house, we own our own property, we pay our own property taxes. You know, we have to pay monthly fees for amenities and things of that nature. So, I mean, like, it's ours. We have district rules, so you have to abide by those. Like, some of the rules are, you know, your yard's got to be maintained and stuff like that. You know, you can't paint your house any color you want. It's got to be approved. Kind of like a POA, but it's really not a POA.
Understood.
And as far as the assisted living goes, those are independent from the villages. If a day comes I need to go to independent, then I'm either to have the insurance or the money in hand to go do it.
Okay, I see. All right, that's different then. So that's interesting. So a retirement community like the villages is literally you are buying a piece of property. You're paying essentially HOA or POA, like you said. I mean, I know it's not quite the same. You're in charge of your own utilities. You're in charge of your maintenance. You're in charge of all that stuff. And yet, but there are a number of assisted living, and I imagine, you know, at some point, like you said, another big hospital, one already on top of that, because some of the people there are going to move into the transition of those places.
Oh, yeah. Almost all the assisted living places, it's amazing. Well, it is, it ain't. It's kind of sad, too, but as soon as they open their doors, it ain't but a matter of weeks, they're completely full.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things that when I was doing my research for one of my clients on it. I'm up here right north of Atlanta. I don't think I told you that. And they're, you know, the same kind of thing. They're doing these continuing care facilities where you're starting off assisted and independent living, like a cottage or something like that. But what you're doing is you're paying a pretty significant entrance fee, so that way you can't be put out if you do need assisted living or if you do need actually nursing home. And but there's only so many beds. I mean, it's not cheap. I mean, these places cost, you know, $300,000 or $400,000 to get in, and then another, you know, $4,000 a month. It's that gives you kind of like at least a feeling. Hey, I know I'll be here essentially until I go to my greater reward. On the but y'all been in the villages for a long time. I mean, were you like one of the original pioneers down there, or what?
I wouldn't say I was an original pioneer, because that goes back into the 80s when Harold Swartz was actually, he's the one that started this place. Okay. He's gone now, and his son took over, and then now I think the grandchildren are running the place, the Morse family. And, yeah, we were coming down here when Spanish Springs was the first town square. And the town square is where all the action is at. That's where there's 365 days a year entertainment, and it's absolutely free. And that's where the restaurants and all the stuff. And we were coming here when that was it. And now they came further south and they opened up Lake Sumter, which has a Key West theme about it, and it's even a larger town square. It's probably the most popular town square. And there they got boat rides, boardwalks, more restaurants, more music, more dancing. And then now they got Brownwood here, and it's the same thing, except it's got a more of a Michigan Western type theme. Okay. And now they're working down by Finney. They just bought that down there. They're going to build something like 40,000 homes down there. Ooh. And they're going to have their own square. That was just announced, by the way, last week. They won't tell you where the square exactly is going to be, but they did announce there was going to be another square down there. So, and then yesterday I did a special report where they just are closing in on Leesburg, buying another, I don't know, put another 3,000 or 4,000 homes over there.
But how many people, I mean, live there now, and how many are they? I mean, another 40. I mean, how many people is that going to be? That's got to be a pretty.
Right now, the figures vary. One person will tell you one thing, another person, they don't really know, I don't think, really. But right now, the consensus is there's 120,000 plus people here.
Wow. Jeez. That's 120,000 in that village's community. And yeah. And then they're going to put another, what do you say, 40,000 units? Is that what you said, or 4,000?
That's what was in the paper, that they asked Wildwood to be able to, they wanted to raise the the amount of homes they were going to build in the Southern Oaks area. That's another what they call it, the village of Southern Oaks, the village of Finney, the village of DeSoto. That's how it's done here. It's like up north you would call it a neighborhood. Down here everything's a village. And they wanted to raise the amount of homes they was going to put in there, and I'm sure Wildwood was going to approve it because it's in their tax district. So they don't have really no reason not to approve it. And so if you figure an average of 2 people per house, you know, you can do the math. There's going to be another 100,000 people real quick.
And I bet they sell those homes real fast too. You know what I mean? How much? I'm just curious. What's the going price? $350,000, $250,000? I mean, I'm just
they're all over the gamut. You can buy a house below 2, and you can pay over $1 million.
No kidding. So there's all kinds of different ones down there. Oh, that's interesting.
All kinds, all styles, different shapes, different sizes, different colors.
Does the ones like for $1 million on like an acre or something like that, or what?
In most cases, the designer home area, which is where I'm at, your lot sizes are, I'll say, ample, and they're not huge. But most of us that are retired, we don't really want huge because it's just too much to take care of.
Exactly. That's
but that don't mean, it don't mean they're all that way. You can get in the cul-de-sac, for example, and then the backyard ends up being kind of a pie shape, and so you get a lot larger yard that way. But here, the realty adage of location doesn't mean that anymore. It's not more important anywhere than here, because if you've got a larger yard, you're going to pay a premium price for that lot.
Yeah.
You got a water frontage view. You're going to pay a bigger premium price for that lot.
Well, what's the water? Like some lake, or is it a man-made lake, or what is it exactly?
Well, they call it all kinds of names, but basically it's 2 things here. It's retention ponds.
Okay.
We have retention ponds everywhere, and that's basically for hurricane standards. And then swamp. They don't like to call it a swamp. Like behind me, they call it Evans Prairie. But I've never been I know what a prairie is. I've never seen alligators in a prairie before, but we have a prairie in our backyard with alligators.
And standing water. Imagine mosquitoes. They got to be enormous down there, I think, right? Or not so bad.
Do what now?
Mosquitoes? I mean, do y'all get a lot of mosquitoes down there?
You know, that's the amazing thing down here that just shocks me. We don't hardly ever get a mosquito, ever.
Really?
I know they spray a little bit here and there. They must do it like at 3 in the morning because I've never seen it. But we go to the squares at night, and we sit down there and listen to the music and sit outside all the time and walk around the neighborhood at night when it cools down. And, I mean, just literally nobody ever gets bothered by mosquitoes.
That's crazy. I'm
crazy.
And you don't see them out there 24/7 spraying. So that is, I'm stunned by that. That's
Yeah, I'm sure they're not spraying 24/7. I'm sure they do once in a while, like I said, but I've never seen them. But whatever they're doing, it's right by me.
Yeah, no, that's the. I'm from Maine originally, and I tell you that the state bird is a mosquito. And now I'm in Georgia, and we've been around all over the place. And one thing about living on the East Coast is mosquitoes, and they just drive you insane. First thing you said when you said swamp, I had this impression of a bunch of mosquitoes just attacking you while you're grilling. Oh man, that's interesting.
No.
That adds another $250 a month right there to the purchase price just because no mosquitoes.
Yeah. We've never been bothered with mosquitoes. The only thing that people ask about it seems like a lot, and we don't even get bothered with that, really. People are always asking about alligators. They're scared to death of alligators. The truth is, the alligators stay in the water and hang around the water, and they don't bother nobody. Snakes. Once in a while, we get these black racers, and what they do is they run around and get in your bushes or whatever, and they're chasing them little lizards, them little geckos around.
Yeah, right. Are those snakes, are they poisonous or anything, or?
No. I've been here for 4 years in this new house, and I've seen one.
Oh.
So there's not that many to worry about.
Do you have on your patio or backyard? Do you have enough where you could plant like an orange tree or something like that, or?
You can. I don't have one because they're dirty and they stink and they're nasty, and
really?
Nobody ever eats the fruit. Nobody ever eats the fruit anyway. It's just that they always say, I got my own orange tree, but the oranges are laying on the ground, they go to rot, and they have a tendency to attract mice and rats when they lay around like that.
No kidding.
Yeah, when they attract mice and rats, well, that means it ain't too far down the road they're going to start attracting critters that eat mice and rats.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's snakes. And then when the snakes come in, and on top of that, then your mice and rats are going to attack your house, too. That's interesting because I've always had, being from the north, the idea of a citrus tree has always been a fantasy of mine in California or Florida. But you're saying it's just not worth it. That's interesting. I would have thought that'd be the first thing you do being from the north is plant an orange tree, but no one. That's it.
Well, there's some that do. I don't want to say they don't. Our neighbor behind us, he's got got some kind of lemon trees, but he just put them in great big pots on his back porch, and they do great.
How about the summer? Like right now, it's crazy hot up here in Georgia, and I can only imagine how's the Florida summers for you, Skip? Are you guys just hating life? Do you ever go like reverse snowbirding or anything like that?
We take off once in a while, especially in the summer, go north. We've got granddaughters that live up in North Dakota, so summer's a good time to go up there and see them. But generally speaking, as far as hot weather goes, I mean, I haven't really found it here anyway to be much hotter here in the summer than it was in Indianapolis in the summer.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is the humidity here, I think, is a little higher than it is up there. But other than that, I don't really notice that much difference. Even in the winter here, in January, we will get below freezing weather.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not very much. This last year was probably the coldest winter that I know of that we've had since I've been here. We had like 10 days in a row maybe where it got down to 28 and 29 at night. So my one and only banana tree that I had in the backyard, it killed it. So.
Yeah, but no snow to shovel or ice to pick out your windows or anything like that.
Yeah, that's all right. So I wasn't complaining.
I mean, so you really don't even have a heat bill. Imagine a small little heat pump just to get you through those 10 or 12 nights, and that's it.
That's what we got down here where I'm at in the newer area. Everybody here has heat pumps. We don't have air conditioning and furnaces.
How far, now, the village is in central Florida, is that correct?
Yes.
And how far, like, from the beach? Like an hour and a half to the, like, I don't know, the beach?
About an hour and a half each way you go. We're right in the middle of the state.
That's crazy. And the property tax there, I mean, so you still pay the property tax. So in Georgia, you're paying about 1% roughly, and that's depending on your county. What would be the property tax down there for you all? In percentage,
I think a lot of it depends on what kind of deductions you might have. Like you get a military discount, you get I think it's over a 70 or something like that discount. You get homestead exemptions, all this and that. But I can only speak for us, and we get a disability discount for my wife.
Okay.
And then we get a homestead exemption here, and our house is valued about $250,000, I think. And our property taxes, what is it, around $2,300?
Oh, man.
39? What is it? How much is the taxes? I think our taxes are around $23, $29. But with your property taxes here comes the bond payment. It comes with your property taxes, and she said with our bond payment and everything, it's $3,900 a year.
And the bond payment, is that part of the fees for maintenance and all that, or is that like
when you buy in a newer area, you're going to have a bond on your house. You buy in a pre-owned area, it's very possible to buy a house where the bond's been paid off. But the bond, yes, it's put in the streets and the sewers and the gas lines and the electric lines. Get all the rec centers up. There's a law here. They can't sell that first property or build that first house in place, and then they'll start building houses.
I get. That makes sense. The last thing you need is a ghost zone for a neighborhood with 2 or 3 houses. If you're the only people that aren't living there, that's not good. How's the it just occurred to me, like the police force? Is there a local police force, or are you part of the county, the sheriff, or?
Yeah, we're basically under Sumter County. That takes care of us, and then part of the villages is in Lake County. Okay. So Lake County, and there are certain areas of the villages that's in actually the city of Lake City, and so they got city police there. A couple of our rec centers has a satellite police station inside our rec centers.
Oh.
And so, I mean, we've got them all around, and we're pretty well taken care of. The problem, I think, that they're having in some of these towns with us is the villages are growing so fast that they can't hire enough police officers and build a couple of tunnels kind of got flooded, I think because debris got in the tunnel and kind of blocked up the drain, but they got them taken care of. But down here, other than a few trees on the golf courses, that the ground got so wet they just toppled over. No, we didn't have any problem at all with structural damage with these houses other than a few shingles blowed off, and that was it.
And all the utilities are underground, I imagine, right?
Yeah, it's all underground.
And on the shingles, are you responsible as a homeowner to take care of that, or is the as part of the fee that you pay that they do all that for you?
Yeah, it's your house.
Okay, and so it's literally okay. Gotcha. So it's not. I gotcha. That makes sense. So you got to get up there, put some shingles on, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I can't believe
not necessarily. I only had like 10 or 15 missing, so I went up to the store where these shingles come from, and I just put them on myself and just want to be done with it.
Yeah.
But some of the houses that lost, I'll say, quite a few shingles, there's a home warranty. You get a 10-year warranty on the house. And they waited for the contractor to come and fix it. Now, the home warranty would have took care of it for me, but I didn't want to wait,
Right.
months and months and months, because when it came through, there were so many houses that had a claim that, that's what I would have had to have done. I would have had to waited months to get those 10 shingles put back on, and I said, it ain't worth it.
Does a home warranty cover his hurricane and wind damage too?
I guess, because I've had several neighbors down here that's what they did. They called home warranty department, and that guy would come out and he would put up like a temporary plastic something over the where the missing shingles were at, and then like months later they came back and they put them on.
How is the homeowner's insurance? I mean, I just heard horrendous things about Florida. What in terms of homeowner's insurance itself? Is that tell me a little bit about the homeowner's insurance if you don't mind.
The only thing I know about really the homeowner's insurance here, I don't think it's much different than really what it was up in Indiana. It's just that here, you've got the high wind damage thing I think you got to be aware of.
Yeah.
And lightning, because there's more lightning strikes in the state of Florida than anywhere else in the United States. So you have to make sure you got covered for that. I guess you could maybe have a flooding thing, but from what I saw, we're never going to have a flooding problem here where I'm at.
Yeah.
And then golf cart insurance, which is something most people wouldn't even think about, because we use our golf carts like a car.
Yeah,
and even though the state of Florida doesn't require insurance on a golf cart, they don't even require a driver's license for that matter. I think insurance on a golf cart is probably a good thing to have, especially as cheap as it is. It's only $60 a year.
For $60 for golf cart insurance? Oh my goodness.
Yep, that's what they charge us.
How much is your homeowner's insurance, if you don't mind? Like $2,000 a year, $1,000?
How much? She says about $650 a year for this house here.
That's it? For homeowners?
Yeah. It's very reasonable. It's very reasonable. It's not as pricey as what a lot of people would think to live down here.
I thought she was. I thought when she said six, I thought she said 6,000. I said, yeah, that sounds.
No.
Shock.
See, one thing I've learned by being here: the closer you get to the water, the more expensive it gets.
Yeah, but man, you're an hour, a couple minutes each on each side. I mean, you get the benefit of having the beach.
You get center to the state, the hurricane dies out real fast. You get a lot of wind, a lot of rain, but we don't get that hurricane damage they get like on the coast.
Oh man! And then you can keep your windows open during the winter. Maybe not the winter, but certainly you can.
Yeah, you can, and I have.
Oh yeah, no, that's wonderful. And you never look back though, right? You're never saying, "Oh man, I miss the snow" or anything like that.
No, we've never had the thought of going back to Indiana. I've asked a lot of my friends down here if they've had any regrets. Until this day, I've never found anybody yet that has any regrets being here. They just, the only thing they're mad about, they just didn't do it quicker.
Yeah. Are most people up there or down there, are they mostly from the north or just all over? You know what I mean?
Just all over. You never know who your neighbor's going to be. I mean, I've actually sat at a square, and I don't know who the guy is. He probably told me his name, but I've forgotten now. But anyway, before I bought here, I'd ask a lot of questions, and the best way to do that is go to the square there's 1,000 people down there dancing and listening to music and whatever, and you sit down and you start talking to the guy next to you, which I did.
Yeah.
And then the guy asked me, so what do you do? I haven't retired yet. I told him, well, I'm working for UPS driving a truck, and he seemed really interested. He asked me a lot of questions about trucks. And I told him, so I just happened to ask him. I said, where'd you retire from? The guy retired from NASA. I almost felt goofy thinking this guy, works on rocket ships, and he's asking me about trucks.
And he's all interested in you. And you're like, wait a second, man. I need to be asking you about the rockets. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's just the way it is down here. I mean, you just never know who your neighbor. And the thing is about being retired, it's kind of hard maybe to get used to. Maybe, I don't know. It's just different. That once you're retired down here, nobody cares. The only thing we care about, are you going to be playing golf next Wednesday so I can put you in? Are you in for cards? Are you in? You want to go out and have dinner with us? I mean, it's all about activity here, because this retirement community here, and I've probably been to 50 different retirement communities checking them out.
Oh.
Every one of them we went into, they all had one thing in common. If you went into a retirement community in the middle of the day when it was really, really hot, there was nobody out. Everybody stayed in where it was cool.
Right.
You come down here, you go outside 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon when it's 85, 90 degrees outside, and there's people everywhere. They're playing golf, they're riding bikes, they're going to the pool, they're everywhere.
That's interesting. That, man, Skip, if you hadn't said that, I would not even thought about that. But I wonder why. Why is the other one so desolate during? I mean, I get why they want to stay inside, but that's interesting. That has a huge appeal. That people around.
I don't really have a good answer as to why, other than the fact that the villages. This goes back to Harold Schwarzenegger again, and the way that they design things. This whole area started out being designed for movement and activity.
Yeah.
The free music at the square every night. That's dancing. It's a form of exercise. The pickleball courts here is probably the second most popular thing here. And golf. We have, I don't know how many holes of golf now. I want to say 800 or 900 holes of golf.
Okay.
And out of all that golf, we have, I want to say 30 or 32 executive courses. Well, the executive courses here for residents is what they call free golf. We don't pay nothing to play there.
Are you
so it's 9-hole golf. It's not 18 holes. It's just 9 holes, but it's free. And it encourages everybody. If you've never played golf before, let's go play golf, right? It doesn't cost anything but a bag full of clubs. And so it encourages everybody to get out and do.
And meet people. And that's part of the community. If you get to meet people by being out and doing, you're going to have better community relations and everybody's be happier. It's humanity. I tell you, that's a great observation. I didn't think about that. Like, you go outside in the center of the community and no one's in there because everyone's sitting at home shielding themselves. That's not a community. Or, hey, they can do whatever they want, but I just feel, like you said, the activity and being around people is definitely a way. It's funny, too, how you said, the guy from NASA, he doesn't care. The guy from, it's like, once you get out of the military, no one cares. You know what I mean? It's like, you're a general, yeah, as a private, everyone just, it's the same thing. It's interesting. Huh. That's actually pretty, if I was, obviously you're pretty outgoing. I mean, I would think if I was not even outgoing so much, but I want to be part of a community, that would be a big selling point right there.
It is a big selling point, and over the years, because they've been building this place since in the 80s, so over the years, the reputation's gotten out. This is what happens here, and they've got this formula now. When they build, they know what works. They know that so many golf courses, so many country clubs, we've got to have so many swimming pools, so many sports pools.
Yeah.
Sports pool is where you might play something like water volleyball, which I've done. It's great. There's all kinds of things. There's organized clubs here. I don't know exactly how many there are, but it's well over 2,000 there.
I was going to say, I bet there's a ton of them. Hey, is there like a local community college that comes on campus or whatever that you can take, I don't know, you want to learn about engineering concepts or something like that? I mean, anything like that?
Well, there used to be, what was that called? Lifelong Learning College, where a lot of retired teachers and things here regardless of what they did, would volunteer their time to go over there, and people would have these different courses. One of the most popular courses they had years ago was teaching people how to actually use a computer and to get on the internet, because most of the older people really just didn't know how to do it. And so that was a real popular course. As far as being mechanical with cars and whatever, we've got over, and I forget how, sometimes these numbers with me, I'm vague about it, but it's well over 100 car clubs here that go from Corvette clubs to Mercedes clubs to all these clubs. And inside them clubs, that's what those guys do. They show you how to work on things. They give you little hints, techniques. And so, yeah, we got the largest Corvette club in the state of Florida right here.
Man, that's just, that's interesting to me, because they have a club, if you want to be a RV guy or something like that, or a walkie-talkie, they probably got a club for you. Or what's the ham radio? I guarantee they got a club for all that stuff, and you can start from scratch. Or you could be a knowledgeable person. Either way, I imagine it's all welcome for anyone to join. That's pretty cool. That's any I promise I wouldn't take you more than 45 minutes, but Skip, anything for just folks that are looking at. I mean, you said you looked at 50 different ones. Or a bunch of, whatever. But anything that jumps out at you for folks who are thinking about retiring to a place, like what the village is, not just specific to there, but just maybe what, in your experience, like some of the things they should be thinking about that might not be as intuitive as hey, what's the price of the house or something like that?
Well, I've always said, when you're retired and you're older, other things take priority. When you're younger, you worry about your kids and raising them and sending them to school and clothing them and all this kind of stuff. So when that's all done and over, now it's all about you. So I would just told people, whether you come here or whether you go somewhere else, it doesn't make no difference. Just know what you want. Yeah. And just work with what budget you have. And then just enjoy yourself in life. That's all there is left. So, just don't worry about it. There's retirement communities here are by the hundreds. Yeah. I mean, we're the most popular right now, yeah, but we're definitely by far. I mean, some people don't want to live in a city, and that's what we're becoming, of 120,000 retired people. Right. A lot of, because children can't be here. Right. I mean, other than visiting children. Right. Some people tell me that they enjoy living in a community where kids are around. Right. And so if that's the case, then you don't want to be here. But if you like a lot of activity and you can live with a small amount of rules that they have, and none of the rules are anything outlandish at all. Right. But and if you like to golf, you like to bowl, you like to join clubs, you like to dance, you like music, you like eating out, you like to be active. If you like to be active, I have never found a better place. Last question, how, in terms of just your cost of living compared to being in Indiana, did you find when you moved down there, I know you've been there for a while, but it was a lot more expensive, about the same as paying in Indiana, cheaper, or just in terms of cost of living, what would you say is relative to what you're used to back in the north? House prices, I don't see a whole lot of difference. If it costs you $1 million here, it costs you $1 million there. Yeah. Food-wise, my wife said there are certain things at the grocery store that's much more expensive than it was up north. And I don't know all the ins and outs about groceries, but I hear bacon and milk mentioned a lot. So apparently bacon's pretty expensive, and I do know milk is around $3.50 a gallon, something like that. Okay. And up north, I think it was more like $1.99 or something, $1.79. Okay. But if the price of milk is going to stop me from moving to Florida, then I wouldn't even look. You know what I mean? Right. That's what's keeping you back. You got other things concerned with. But nothing that says, oh, my goodness, we got hit over the head with a 2x4 because of prices or anything like that. It's just pretty comparable to up there is kind of what you're saying, it sounds like. But the electricity here, I think, is cheaper, a lot cheaper. Interesting. We don't have a heating bill in the wintertime because we don't have cold weather, really, without anything. And right now, our air conditioner or heat pump, it runs quite a bit because of the summertime temperatures, and our heating bill, my wife showed me just for the month of June, was only $87.
$87, and that was in the month of June, Florida. Holy smokes! That's for air conditioning. Man.
Yeah. So yeah, we found a lot of things here much cheaper than up north, and then some things are about the same.
Right.
But the important things for us was the price of the home about the same for us. The utilities are probably a little cheaper. Water is a little more expensive. I can't really think. Well, of course, you got that bond payment. That's the main thing. You have to make that bond payment when you do property taxes. But that's probably the big bite, is that right there.
Yeah, but all in all, it's still comparable or comparable, whatever how you say it. That's Yeah, that's interesting. That's fantastic. I did not, like I said, those continuing care retirement communities. You got to pay, $300,000-400,000 to get in, and then you're paying, $4,000 or $5,000 a month, and you're, in a, in a building essentially, and nothing wrong with that, but just it's what you're in is a whole lot more open. I think that sounds obviously the pros.
Well, when Harold Schwartz started this thing, he had a saying back then. Harold was quite the entrepreneur when he came down here, when he was trying to sell property to turn it into a retirement community.
Yeah.
He would come down to the airport in a limousine and pick you up at the airport and bring you up here and let you stay here for a week, and he would chauffeur you around. And then when you were done, he would take you in that limousine and take you back to that airport, to get you to buy homes here. And he had a saying that I never forgot that I thought was great. He said, he asked me once, he said, did you ever think you could live like a millionaire on a Chevrolet budget?
That is a saying for the record, for the history books right there. I mean, it's like,
yeah. You don't want to. Well, anybody out there who happens to listen to this, anybody out there that would like to come to the villages and just try it out, just look around, the villages offers what they call a lifestyle preview program.
Oh, man.
And you can get them at different lengths, like, 5 days, 7 days. I think I've heard them up to 10 days long. Well, they'll put you in a house, and they put you in a super, super nice home. And you'll have your own golf cart, your own bicycles, your own stuff, and you can come and you can try it out and see if it's for you. If it ain't for you, it's all right. Then you just move on to somewhere else.
Oh, that's perfect. That way, no obligation. You know what I mean? You just go down there. If you like it, you're good to go. If not, you just walk away. No muss, no fuss.
That's right.
Skip, how do people find you on YouTube? If you don't mind sharing your YouTube channel, that way, if anyone's listening, they're interested, they certainly can subscribe for sure.
Well, it's really easy to remember. I changed it, but I got 2 ways you can get to my YouTube channel. One is Skip Smith The Villages, and that's 4 different words, Skip Smith The Villages.
Okay.
Or you can type in one word, all small caps, This Truck's For You. Either one of them will take you to my YouTube channel.
This truck?
This Truck's with an S. Okay. This Truck's For You.
Okay, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes, the YouTube channel. And folks, if you do go on there, Skip, how many videos you got? Like almost 300 or even more than 300, right?
Yeah, it's 300 and something. I'm starting to get behind a little bit. We took a mosey trip, or what we like to call mosey trip. When I go moseying in my car, I'm gone for sometimes a month.
Oh.
And, so I started posting some of those on there, and I got kind of behind on my village and stuff, but I'm trying to get caught back up. I've been putting them on there 7 days a week now. I used to put them on just 5 days a week and nothing on the weekend, but I'm putting them on 7 days a week trying to get caught up.
I saw you put one, the White Sands. Is that what was your mosey trip?
That was one of my mosey trips. The latest one was we went up to meandered around North Dakota, South Dakota, and we went over to the Washington, Mount Rushmore area and Custer's area and all that stuff over there.
Did you put some of that on your Mount Rushmore? I've never been there. Did you put a video on that on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's on there.
Oh, and sweet. That's fantastic.
We even put the nighttime program that they started on there.
Oh, awesome.
But yeah, it's on there.
Well, Skip, I appreciate it, sir, and tell Miss Skip thank you for participating too. But this has been, I tell you, it's been fantastic. I learned a lot actually, and the folks that I work with, I'll refer them to your YouTube channel for sure if they're interested, because I guarantee, given that they're opening that many more units, there's a bunch of people that are obviously showing an interest and moving on down there. I guarantee it, or else they would not have bought that land and tried to develop it. That doesn't sound like it'd be a fruitful endeavor if they didn't think they could sell those units. That's for sure.
Well, I think it was last year, for those that entrepreneurs out there that has businesses they'd like to start up, that last year in the Forbes 500 magazine, he listed villages as the top 10 best places in America to start a new business.
No kidding. That's crazy. Man, no kidding. The villages is one of the top. That's
the building opportunities down here in this whole area is something like I've never seen in my whole life. I've never seen so much dirt pushed. I've never seen so many houses being built, roads going in. It's just amazing.
Man, that's interesting. Well, that's opportunity. Like you said, the entrepreneurial mind right there starts moving and saying, how can they exploit that? Because obviously there's a lot of demand going down there, which means a lot of money is exchanging hands, that's for sure. So
yeah, it's hard to get things done when you buy a house if you want to have some upgrades put in. I mean, it's nothing to have to wait anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months.
Well, then you throw Hurricane Irma and other stuff on top of that. Like you said, 6 months to get a couple shingles put on. That's
yeah, because they can't get enough help. I mean, it's just the employment opportunity is good. The business opportunity is good. So
that's interesting. Well, Skip, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. And I appreciate you your openness to this call. I know it's like, who is this guy? But this has been fantastic, man. And I certainly, you're real quick. When I got in the Army in '92, I used to load those trucks for UPS that you used to drive. This is back right outside Washington, D.C. Man alive, that was a tough job. Woo, woo, woo. I probably lost 20 pounds a night doing that.
I can't say anything bad about it. It paid the bills, it fed the kids, it put clothes on our back,
And look where you are now, so good on you, man. That's fantastic. Thanks,
well,
Skip.
hey, if you ever get down this way, you've got my stuff. Just give me a call or whatever, and I'll be glad to show you around.
That's what I'm saying, but 7 years for me, I still got kids in elementary school, but after that, man, you sold me.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, now. Have a good afternoon, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, Skip. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.